Hey there, and welcome to Young Not Dumb, a podcast for young adults who desire to lead by example and walk in truth. Here, we dive into your real questions and offer honest, practical answers rooted in God's Word. Our goal is to help you navigate life with confidence so that you can step into the purpose that God has for you.
Hey guys, if you clicked into this episode, it's only for girls. We're talking about how to find a godly man.
It's only for girls and we're in here.
That's when it got weird. But that's okay. Keep going.
Okay.
That's why I'm kidding. That's why I had to click on it. Because hopefully there's guys clicking on this too.
Yes.
Because we do want guys to know how to be like the Lord, like the type of man that you should be when you are pursuing marriage.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
episode for girls and guys. Guys on who you should be if you're honoring the Lord and like desire marriage. And then for our girls who are like, oh, I am interested and I'm in a place in my life where I'm ready to be married. What does it look like to find somebody that I can chase the Lord with for a lifetime? So yeah, we're just going to kind of unpack and talk about all the qualities of.
Well, so and for those that don't know, like that Mackenzie's married to Tavian, just an incrable guy, godly guy.
Gorgeous, loves the Lord, smells good.
Tall, dark, and handsome. Yeah, he's really tall. It's this cool dude. But
I don't know what he smells like, by the way.
He is a godly guy, and I've never smelled him.
Okay.
But I think he's fine.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one way or the other. But
First on the list, don't smell like BO.
yeah, right. Why does Michael bring up the weird stuff?
I don't know.
Then he gets mad at me about it.
You brought the weird stuff last time.
That's true. Okay, but Mackenzie, what is it that attracted you to Tavian? I mean, as far as, tell us all about it. I mean, what were you looking for? Were you looking for a godly guy? Let's start there.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So when Tavian and I met, we actually met at a rodeo and like no mutual friends. I had never seen him before in my life, right? So when we met, I was 17. I was going into my senior year of high school. He was going into his senior year of college. And just like every other like person that's going into their senior year, you feel like you have to have your life figured out. And so I already had my plan of where I was going to college and all the things. And I was like, I wanted to go to a Christian school like across the country. So I was like, I have no desire to date anybody here that's going to pin me down.
Yeah.
And so when I met Tavian, I was like, not looking for someone to date or to marry. But I was really like grounded in my relationship with the Lord and really wanted to just focus on that. Amen. So that's where we were at. But then, when we met, even the night that we met, I was like, the way that we met, his cousin had come over and his cousin's girlfriend had introduced us.
Which cousin? Can I ask?
Yeah, it's Marshall's girlfriend, Maddie.
Okay, yeah.
And she had said like, hey, there's this guy that's interested in you and like would like to meet you. Can you come up to like our group where we're sitting at the rodeo and like can I like introduce you guys and stuff?
Good job, Maddie.
And I was like, no, like I was kind of like trying to like nicely curb it and stuff. And she was super persistent. Like this was like a week long rodeo. So it was like I had to see them for the next couple days and the next
And was that a pretty rowdy bunch? The Banks clan up there?
No, they aren't super rowdy, but like the rodeo in general kind of is. Like that's the kind of culture. So I was like, I have no desire to date. I have no desire to meet somebody at a rodeo, like all the things. So, but I did eventually like appease her because I was like, maybe then she'll leave me alone.
Nice.
So I did. I went up and met him. And even after we like met and just talked for a little bit, I was like leaving. I was like, I'm never going to have to see these people again. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was super nice and stuff, but I was like not in the realm of thinking anything was going to become of it. But he had like slid into my DMs after that.
Nice.
And we started talking from there. Yeah, he did so good. And there's so much more to that story and stuff. But he just had like a real personal relationship with the Lord and was interested in getting to know if I did too. And and from there was when we like a couple months down the road, like actually went on a first like double date together. And then, from there it was like, after the first date, I was like, I liked going on this date together. I think I would go on another one.
Nice.
So from there, that's kind of like how our relationship developed and stuff. But things that I loved about him in the beginning was first and foremost, how he was very clear in pursuing me. Like, he was not leaving any questions on the table. It wasn't like, hey, can I get your Snapchat so we can, snap and have a streak for like whatever. It wasn't like he was just really clear from the beginning of his intentions and stuff. And I feel like I tell girls that all the time. I'm like, you want somebody who's going to be a good leader. And that starts even in how they choose to pursue you. You know what I mean?
And so what were his intentions? I mean, what were the intentions that he made known?
Yeah, I think just that he wanted, I guess, to date. And maybe he didn't say like, I want to date you.
Like a serious, he didn't say I want a serious relationship
he
necessarily.
Wasn't like creepy or something, but he was just like, he admired my relationship with the Lord. And he's like, I want to get to know you better. So I feel like you can read between the lines and like, from there, kind of go from there. But I was just really like, I feel like our relationship was marked with him just being always really clear on where he was at with how he wanted to pursue me and stuff. And even later on, like, even like talking to my parents about that and stuff and just being open and honest. And and so I think the leadership was really like what drew me to him, and eventually obviously changed my life plans of like moving and not going to college far away and stuff. But I think that that's probably one of the biggest things. And just seeing that he had like a real personal relationship with the Lord, like he really was in his Bible.
Did he like set any boundaries right away or something like that?
Yeah, that's great too. Yeah. When we, cause I there was a season there where I really tried to like shut the door. Actually, like I was like, I've already got my like, I'm moving. I don't want to date.
Yeah, this don't fit into your plan.
Yes, and he was just like so adamant on pursuing me. Like
Attaboy.
he just really kept pursuing me. And I was like, I'm moving for college. And he's like, my work has like a sector out there. Like I could move out there. Like there was just so much. He was like, no, like this is really worth pursuing to me and stuff. So I'm like, oh my goodness, he's really persistent.
I mean,
nice.
He was very like persistent in pursuing me and stuff. But once we had decided, and then for me, it was a season of going through like, okay, how do I understand if this is the will of God? Like, because I really didn't want to be, I didn't want to compromise my whole life plan for dating somebody, So for me, it was, I had to back up a little bit and be like, okay, like, yeah, I want to be in the Lord's will. So deciphering what that looks like. So I know I'm making this story.
No. But so did you, short, just a couple more questions for you. Did you have like a date to marry? Were you kind of taught that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the midst of meeting Tavian, it was kind of on the tail end of my parents' separation. Their divorce or separation was probably like a 5-year span and went from when I was in middle school till like the middle of high school. So I was just coming off of having lived through something super messy and super hard and watching my parents who have been married for 20 plus years divorce. And so I was sitting there thinking to myself like, wow, marriage, how can I stand up on my wedding day and promise to love this person for the rest of my life when I don't even know who they're going to be in 20 years? And not only promise that person the rest of my life with them, but I'm also making that promise to God.
That's right.
Like, how can I promise God and say, yes, like this is like my for life person when I don't even know what we're going to go through in 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years down the road. Like, you just changed so much. How can I know that the decision I'm like choosing to make now is a good one, Yeah,
because so like that would be a thing too, as far as would that be something that you'd be looking for in a godly man, to be like, are we on the same page with that? In other words, and again, it depends on your philosophy, but I think most of us agree that like, you don't just like date and give your heart away to anybody who will date you, Right. I mean, and then if you've had a past like that, whatever, but like in going forward, understanding that like, you know what, being friends is one thing, and maybe like a little bit more as far as getting to know each other, but as far as really, really dating, that if we go to that level, that we're serious, that means that we're thinking about marriage. I mean, which I know that may sound crazy to some people, but
no, but it's,
But I'll say this, at least you need to be on the same page. And that's the page that we would probably encourage to be on. Like, hey, so Are you just like a casual dating kind of person, which apparently Tavian was proven that he wasn't that, you
Right.
know, but so that's something you're probably looking for too,
Yeah.
to being on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, especially as Christians, like you have to be just intentional and not flippant, and like you have to be intentional guarding your heart. And I think that the world gets it so wrong with dating, especially like we've talked about it before, how
Yeah.
it's a relatively new concept, right?
Yeah,
Dating has
right.
not really been around that long.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are dating wrong. Like you look statistically at the divorce rate, right? Like
Yeah.
if not, it's even more than 1 in 2 marriages end in divorce. And then you think about all the marriages where people don't like sleep in the same bed together, you know,
Yeah.
or like things like that. So we know statistically.
I'm all for different blankets, though.
Different blankets, really?
Definitely.
You need it.
Interesting.
Best.
Yeah, I've never done that. That's an interesting concept. Well, I mean, I'd say, but I've heard like with dating, people call it like the way that people date is like you practice divorce.
Yes, yeah.
You
Like
know,
if
that's
you're
almost
just,
like how you
willing to
practice.
give
Yeah, we're going to
yourself
commit to each other until we're not, and then we're done, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to commit to somebody else until we're not. You know,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother topic, I guess. But
No, but it's good too. So a lot in my head was swirling around with the like, okay, well, if my dating looks like everybody else's around me, I am just as much likely statistically to end in divorce as everybody else. So I want to figure out the creator, the designer, the person who made marriage, what he has to say about dating and what it should really look like.
yeah,
So that's where I was at in the culmination of like meeting Tavian and learning about what it should look like to have like a relationship that honors the Lord. And are you willing to make the sacrifices to not look like everybody else so that your marriage doesn't look like everybody else's?
there, that's good.
You know, so yeah, so I don't know if that answers all the questions. Oh, the thing on boundaries and stuff, that was really early on in our relationship. We went through a good marriage series together, and kind of like separately, like we would watch the videos and do things on our own and then come together and compare, which I also think is really great, because I think that should be kind of in your single season,
Yeah.
figuring out what boundaries you have for yourself, you know, before, because I think you can compromise when you have the person in front of you and you're like, oh, well, they're so cute, or I love them, and I'm willing to do this now, you know, because they're here.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think it is good, and hopefully, yes, you're in your season of singleness as you're watching this, but even if not, I think it'll still be really helpful for people to hear and stuff.
And I was really happy, you know, as a dad, I'm talking about this too, a dad of 3 daughters and 1 granddaughter. So like it matters for me, but Michael married my oldest daughter. So we were actually very happy to see Michael coming along. The qualities and the heart that he had for the Lord. But, what do you think? What would you say, Michael? What would Hannah, or what are your thoughts on the thing in general?
What a godly man is.
Yeah. Or maybe what is it about you that Hannah,
Look in the mirror.
Maybe we need to call her. Maybe we just
All
need
right,
to
let's
ask
do
her.
it. Why not?
Let's
call
just
her up?
cold call Hannah. She doesn't know we're calling her. Let's see what she was looking for in a spouse. You'll have to ask her.
Okay.
Hello?
see if this works?
Hey, honey.
Hey, honey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What? Here, you guys asked the question. I get. Wait.
She can't hear us.
What qualities?
What qualities
Were you looking for?
Were you looking for in a man when you married me?
I was looking for someone with like a heart for the Lord and a heart to serve the Lord. That's like a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
And one of the things that kind of sold me on you was we were doing a series on the fruit of the Spirit at church. And I don't know, it just like when we were going through the fruits of the Spirit, it was like I was getting to know you, and I just like realized that you were exemplifying like all the fruits of the Spirit. And the way our church was set up, I could kind of look over at you, and I just remember distinctly like looking over at you and kind of realizing that. And I don't know, that was like a big moment for me, I guess, that I remember.
Aww.
Did I look like a hunk?
Yeah, you looked pretty cute sitting over there too.
But how'd I look though?
Yeah.
That's so
Another
good.
thing was like, I feel like when we first were getting to know each other, you were trying to play it really cool. And I don't know, I thought you were really boring until you started to be yourself. And then when
Makes
you
sense.
started being yourself and like being weird, I loved that. And I still do.
Aw,
Amen.
thanks. I
That's
love
so
ya.
cute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Best.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Yay. Thanks for joining us, Hannah. That's so sweet.
Talk to you later.
Okay, love you.
Mwah.
Oh,
I was
my
hoping he would
word.
like say bye and just hang up on her after all that.
No, that's so
I think you're
sweet.
great and you're a blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
Oh,
but that's cool. That actually brought tears to my eyes. Hearing my daughter saying that. And
yeah.
She never said that to me, man. This is the first time I'm just
Really?
kidding. No, she's.
That's
You did know
so
that?
sweet.
I did know that.
the
yeah.
fruit of the spirit thing and all
Yeah,
that.
she told me that.
That's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
And the being yourself thing. I'm sure she probably told you that too.
Yeah, because she says when I first started dating her, I was trying to act all cool, and she thought I was boring. Like that was literally the thing. And then once I started getting comfortable and acting like a freak, like
Well, I don't know. Well, Melanie, I know she's not available to answer the phone. She's working right now. But like, I know that. I know when I first met her, I was very much like the "Hey, girl" kind of guy.
Trying to be
No.
cool.
hey girl or hey girl.
No,
Okay.
definitely. Hey, girl. Yeah, definitely the
first.
former. Yeah. So like I was trying to be like Mr. Cool, and I thought whatever, and I know that didn't. And that's one of the things that I loved about her is that my "Hey, girl" worked on some girls, but it didn't work on this girl. But anyway, but I would say go to the authenticity factor of but I think looking for those godly things, and I don't know, but I know that I think she appreciated the fact when I just started being more myself and not trying to be like Mr. Cool guy with all the lines and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good. And then I don't know, and you might think about this, but I don't like to think about it. But I know it's as long as Jesus, like if Jesus doesn't come back anytime soon, like I'm gonna have to deal with like letting my daughter date and get married and stuff like that. And so it is something that I do pray for. Like I do pray for my kids' future spouses because the Lord knows who they are. But just there's some things that I would want to look for with my daughter. One was that do they love Jesus? Like, are they following Jesus? Are they committed?
A genuine
In
relationship.
a
with
genuine
him,
relationship.
right?
Yeah. Like full blown, like, are they committed? Are they teachable? A big one for me, like, I don't know, this is just me, but like, are they faithfully committed to their local church?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a huge one because there's
Yes,
a
are they
lot of
serving?
Christians,
Absolutely.
and there's a lot of people who are Christians and read and maybe go to church for a while. But dude, I want my future son-in-law to be faithfully committed to church.
Yep.
And I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, and under the leadership of godly leaders.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that means like not just like checking the box of going to church, but being involved in the
Yeah.
church,
Amen,
right?
yes,
Like
yes.
being a servant. And I think you can really tell a lot about people by the way that they serve others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's huge. Like if you're like scouting out some possibilities, like the perfect place ideal is to be able to find somebody in church who is like loving and serving others.
Yeah.
Because you get to know them and then serving alongside them too, like
Yeah.
cultivating that
Dude,
friendship.
it's
and
the best. Like when I was dating Hannah, being able to serve the Lord together in our local church was like the greatest time in the world.
yeah.
It was so special.
Yeah.
So how important, and I mean, I'm curious with you and Tavian, because we're talking about loving the Lord and dating, if you are a Christian, dating a Christian, but like Christianity, that word is almost like really broad these days.
Right.
Like, so we would agree that it would be somebody who does have a relationship with the Lord and is just not a nominal Christian that is a part of basically a religious thing that's not, but like, how about that? Like I've never had this situation because so far the two of my daughters that are married, Hannah and Caitlin, both the people that came along I know y'all believe the same, right? How important is it? I mean, how much do you have to believe the same? I mean, I'm wondering with you and Tavian, have y'all had things that, anything beyond minor disagreements, like doctrinally about what God's word teaches or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like broad answer, I think it's important definitely to be like on the same page and stuff. But I think that's maybe part of the dating process is like just learning about what they believe and if you believe the same things. But I also think like we both were just like, we're just Bible believers. So like, let's learn together, or like, what does the Bible have to say about this?
That's
And
good.
being
Yeah.
able
If you
to-
have that attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that, like maybe we came from like different church denominations, technically like the names or whatever, but I actually remember asking Tavian that. I was like, what like denomination is your church? And he was like, it's just like a Bible church. Like, I don't know if it's a denomination. Like, I think they just like believe the Bible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. Cause my church was different. Like I just came from a denomination, so I had never heard that. I was like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. And I remember telling my mom that too. Cause she was like, well, yeah, like what does he believe? Like what's his denomination and stuff. So,
Right.
That's a big deal, dude.
It does matter. I mean, because you've got to be, or what are you, where it really matters, because people a lot of times don't think far enough ahead, but it matters in your relationship, but it definitely matters when you have kids.
Yeah.
yes.
Because that's where all of a sudden it's like, well, what are we going to teach our kids? Like,
Yeah. In a perfect world, my daughter would meet someone that is in the church that I'm pastoring. So when they get married, they don't leave.
Oh,
so
yeah. So they
that's
could
kind of the
stay.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. That would be sweet. And then
Yeah.
you can already have taught him all the things,
Yeah, I taught him everything. Like, yeah.
hey, I mean, I don't know if this is what you look for or not. I know it's something that I appreciate, but both of my current son-in-laws reached out to me, and they had already been talking with my daughter, but my daughters. But when it came to the point of like, okay, no, we want to make this like official.
Yeah.
We're moving our social media thing to in a relationship. Nah, whatever.
DTR.
But when we were actually getting serious about it, but both of my sons-in-laws, which I try to encourage my daughters to do, like, they reached out to me and said, hey, I'm interested in
Pursuing your daughter.
pursuing your daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did Tavian, was that like a thing with you guys?
Did. Yeah. The first time he met my parents are divorced, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And my dad is remarried. So he like met both my parents separately and just like had a conversation with them and asked them. And
So he didn't meet him at the rodeo.
no,
Because y'all weren't that far yet.
no, I was just like, I was trying to appease this family so I could get the heck out of there forever.
Right.
So I'm like, so when he did come to my town and like get to meet them, he just wanted to make his intentions clear and known to them too, and asking for their permission, because we believe too, like, your parents are the people who are responsible for your, especially before the Lord, like your purity and your protection and providing. And if there's someone that they're going to hand you over to, like it's good to initiate that relationship, and ask for permission there. So, so that was something that you call it what you want, old school or not. I think that it's really respectful and admirable too.
I think
so.
Definitely.
So that was something that Tavian did, and and then again when we like got engaged too. But
Well, I'll share a couple of things that I think are maybe a good thing, a couple good things to look for that I'd be looking for, and I would encourage if you're a man listening that's not yet married or a girl listening looking for these qualities. But I know. So with just one point I had is he follows Jesus before he tries to lead you.
That's good.
Is he following the Lord? Is he mature in the Lord? Things to look for. He honors women as sisters first. That's just a point I had, but just to respect. And I've always heard to say, like, if y'all go out to eat together, watch how he treats the waitress.
Yeah.
Watch how he treats his mom.
Amen.
Yes.
Watch how he treats his mom. And then how does he treat women, like or a server in general? How do they treat a server?
Yeah.
Somebody that...
Notice how he treats someone who can give him absolutely nothing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I think that that's really important. And you get to see a lot of somebody's heart and how they love on others that can give them nothing in return.
Does he have work ethic? Does he have vision?
That's
Is he lazy?
And so many kids, I hate to say it, but so many kids are like, they're like, I feel like there's kids that are either like super driven or like super not.
I know.
And I like want to take people by the shoulders and be like, listen, like this is really going to matter when you are married and you have kids and you have to wake up in the middle of the night. And it's like, if it's all on you, like that is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you need to find someone who is driven and like gets up in the morning, and
Yeah. And I'm not the guy that's like, always holding out for a management position, you know, whatever, like Cousin Eddie. I mean, yeah, somebody that you know is
A hard worker.
Yeah, hard worker, and is going to do what it takes
And
to
does
take
it
care
with
of you.
excellence.
Yeah.
I think that that's really important too. Like whether it's something small and not very meaningful or super meaningful, like is he willing to do it well and like do it unto the Lord? You know?
And this is a question, Mackenzie. This is a broad question, but I may try to narrow it down a little bit. What are non-negotiables versus preferences?
That's good.
Because what I was trying to think
That's
of is
really
like,
good.
you know, is there, where do you compromise? Like, or do you compromise? I mean, what if this guy is not quite the ideal? You know, do you draw the line and say, no, if this guy's not a 10 out of 10 in these categories, then no. You know, because there's women, men and women both, and it's interesting. A lot of them don't get married till later in life because they are waiting for the right one, and they'll find something arguably small. I guess it depends, but then all of a sudden be like, nope, they don't check this box, or they're not quite to that point.
Really?
Like I don't know. So
And I feel like I thought you were going to go the opposite direction with it, where like people compromise because they're like, oh, I don't feel like I'm going to find someone that's a 10 out of 10.
yeah, because I guess that would be another question. Yeah. So the first one is what are non-negotiables versus preferences? And then how can a girl avoid lowering her standards out of loneliness?
Yeah.
So maybe that would be the next question. But for whatever reason, I was thinking of it, first of all, in that, you know, what are
the non-negotiables?
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know. Like,
And I think
I just gotta say though, like I'm pretty happy that Hannah lowered her standards for me. You know, or else I wouldn't have been.
are you being serious?
Kind of. I still think I'm pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, because I wanted to agree with you, but I didn't want to take offense to it.
Yeah, no.
But you did. That's funny.
I
That's
did.
great. Your face was awesome.
No, she's way better than me. Like
No,
in so
I
many
mean,
ways.
it's just like, I think you were a great guy. Like I was
She's the
thrilled to
best.
death.
She's perfect. Yeah.
But I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. And I think that's a tough thing when you're a dad.
It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, nobody's going, you know,
right.
but both of my sons-in-laws are incredible. You know, but you know, so
Well, I feel like there's a couple things that I would
okay, but
answer
yeah,
with.
go ahead.
Like there's some non-negotiables, like the things that God doesn't compromise on are things you shouldn't compromise on, you know? So
good.
like,
Yeah.
So that he loves the Lord and he is in a local church, he's serving, like those things. And that'll knock a lot of people off right there. You know,
That's
like,
very true.
Really well. So
Yeah, narrow
that's
the
like,
pool
those
down.
are number one. Those are big things. And then also like kind of backing up, when a man is in the local church and serving, he has people around him who can speak to you on his character.
Right.
You can go to those people and be like, hey, is this somebody worth like developing a relationship with and stuff? So, and one thing else I'll say too, dating is not the fun stage. Like being single is fun. Being married is fun.
Being married is
Dating
great.
is the hard part. Like it's awkward and it's like you want it to go faster, like you want to be married, you know what I mean? Dating is like the interview. Like you don't want to perpetually be stuck in the interview process. Like you want to find somebody who's going to be a good fit for the job. So you're not trying to do like the world does and date forever. You know what I mean? Like the interview should be long enough to know if they're a good fit for the job, and then it's like, hey, you got the job, like let's be together.
Yeah,
And be married.
I thought dating was fun, but it's been like 30 years ago, you know, because I've been married almost 28 years, so I thought dating was fun.
I didn't like dating either.
Really, that's interesting. Yeah, but maybe I'm just so far removed that I look back on it in retrospect. I don't know.
There's parts of dating that are enjoyable and fun, but like
You have a high, which is
ultimately, I
nice.
feel like,
Yeah.
were you gonna say something, Ryan?
Actually, yeah. Logan and I have been pretty quiet this episode.
Yeah, you are.
But I would say advice for looking for a man is where are you looking?
Sorry, I just imagined Ryan looking for a man. I'm sorry.
I know when I'm looking for a man.
Okay, sorry, buddy.
Mike, is where are you looking? Because I feel like I don't want to pick on women. I bet men and women both do this, but I feel like more women in my life do this. Is they're looking for the right man in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a godly Christian right man in all of the places where godly and Christian right men are not.
That's true.
Yeah.
So good.
And
Somebody should write a song about that.
Yeah, honestly.
let's write a country song about that.
We can make
Let's
AI
get
do
Chat
it.
GBT, write a country song. Anyway, but I feel that, I see that, and I feel that in my some people around me, some women around me, of like, why don't you look in church? And it's just
Exactly.
it doesn't even cross their mind. So that's my input.
I think that's really good,
that's
Ryan. Seriously.
Super good. So some non-negotiables, like we already talked about, like they should be a man who has a genuine relationship with the Lord. And if he does, he's also like plugged into a local church and serving. And honestly, like to me, like the best advice you could get on looking for somebody to date is solely that, like find the person that is like the most godly person you know who's available and single, and marry them. Like they're going to be a great life partner, you know.
That's good.
And if they're following the Lord, like the Lord will continue to develop them, and they will continue to become like a great person. But there are things that you can compromise on. Like I don't think that like you said, Jesse, like maybe there's people who have too high of standards, but I think that that's like the slimmest majority of
I do think that's
Like,
I don't think that's too many.
I think that you should have high
I think there's
standards.
probably more with lower standards, because I would just add, and I don't want to go too far down this road, but like there's girls that can get the idea that dating is an evangelistic effort.
Yeah, 100%.
In other words, I'm going to change him. It's like, girl, do not date that dude. He
Right.
does not have the same values. He does not believe in marriage and being committed for life.
Right.
You know, and so
Or even like, let's play that out. Even if he does come to Christ, is he just doing that to appease you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But I still think, but I would say this, like, because I've given this counsel to like teenage girls before, like if there's some, unsaved guy that's interested in them, being just like, well, hey, you can invite him to come to church with you and come to youth group with you, but I think you got to be careful with that too. But it's like, no, I want to be a friend to you. Like Kaylin was to Blake. They were friends before too, but like,
Right.
that's kind of what she did, going and that's
Christian and Kinley.
yeah, that's
You know?
right. Yeah, Christian and Kinley. Like, come to church, come to youth group. I'm not going to be your girlfriend. We're not dating, but I would love for you to come to church, and I'd like to get to, whatever. But again, I'm sure there's some people that would absolutely be like, absolutely not. But and I don't know. But I think maybe that would go into not avoiding lowering your standards because you're lonely.
So like lowering your standards, I feel like you shouldn't lower your standards spiritually. I think that's
Right.
kind of a big thing. Like
Yep.
spiritually is non-negotiable.
I feel like
Physically, that's
Yes,
kind
that's
of
what
a.
I
I was going to
wanted to
ask
talk
you
about.
like,
Yeah, for
do
sure.
looks matter? Like,
that's
you know,
super good question. Yes. And I feel like I get that a lot, like from girls, like, do I need to be like attracted to them physically? And I feel like maybe in an aspect, in a way, like it's like important, you wanted to like love the person that you're with, but ultimately, like you could even go into God's design, like in your brain, like for sex, like the sex brings you two together and like creates neural pathways in your brain to where like that is the epitome of joy and beauty to you, like that person, you know what I mean? So that's beautiful in God's design, but then that's also another reason for like why you shouldn't have sex before marriage.
That's
because
very true.
then you're literally changing the neural pathways in your brain to be attracted to that person. when
Absolutely.
maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe you're missing the red flags because like you're intimate, or even emotionally intimate with them. Like maybe you're not having sex, but if like you're making out or whatever,
Yeah.
like, you're
Yeah, you
you're
get there's a
altering the
connection.
brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, have you ever heard this? That like that girls that females are more. They respond more to what they hear.
like
So they like guys that are smart. They like guys that are funny.
Yeah.
And so they might not be the best looking guy in the world, but they're smart and they're funny. And so you'll see these guys and girls together, and you're like, so what happened there?
yeah.
To where guys seem to be more they're more about what they see. So that guys hone more in on looks, to where girls are interested in. Do you think that's too much of a generalization?
No, I think that's probably true. I think
Yeah.
that is true. And I think like Yeah, no, I do. And I'll probably talk about this more with like the girls episode, like what to look for in a guy, but I'll like tease it a little bit here. I feel like you're if you are like physical attraction is not the epitome. It's not like the like end all be all, like I'm going to go and look for like the hottest guy out there because there's no like 80-year-old guy out there that's just like a smoke show like he was when he was 20.
Right.
Okay, I was a little confused there.
What I mean?
I thought you were looking for 80-year-olds.
No, no.
So I might as well just go younger.
If you are basing your like future spouse and like putting all of your eggs in the basket of like what they look like is just going to depreciate over time. So like, yeah. And we'll get more into that.
Okay. All right. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Tavian, the way that he is,
Yep.
spiritual, everything like that, but he's 6 inches shorter.
I wouldn't care
You wouldn't
at all.
care?
No, I wouldn't even care if he was shorter than me.
Gosh,
go.
6 inches shorter. I think it'd still be like 6 foot.
Yeah,
What is that? What is that? Short kings? Is that a thing? Short kings or something like that?
Short kings? No.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But
me.
really, you have to think long term. Like, is this person going to make a good partner?
That's good.
Is this person going to make a good father? Like, if he's 4 feet tall, like, is he going to like love our kids well, lead them to the Lord? Like, there's just so much. You have to have an eternal perspective, like an eternal mindset, or at least a 50 years down the road perspective.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to look like they did when you married them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Later on down the road. So if you're basing everything on their looks, you're like investing in a depreciating asset. You know what I mean? Like,
How would you respond to this statement? Don't marry potential, marry patterns.
yeah, for sure.
So it's like, in other words, patterns. You're seeing how he is.
Okay.
Not just like how he can be. So don't marry potential, marry patterns.
Yeah. I think that people get their, like, you got to act your season. You got to act your stage. Like, when you're married, you want to like bring out the best and encourage the potential you see in your spouse, like, and like help them continue to grow. But when you're dating, like, it's not your job to like develop them or like make them become a better person. It's like, you're dating them to see who they are right now, because that's who they're going to be, or the veil is going to be even lifted further once you get married. You know, like Tavian says that all the time, like the things in dating that you love or hate about that person are going to be magnified tenfold when you're married.
Yeah.
So the things that are like a little kind of a little ick, that's what they say. It's kind of an ick.
It'll be magnified when you're married.
Logan knows what I'm talking about. If it's an ick in dating, it's really gonna bug you in marriage. You know, so
you gotta. Not that can be a deal breaker, but you need to say, okay, like I need to think about this, because if this bothers me a little bit now, I need to either like not let it bother me. It's going to bother me a lot.
Yeah. Like it's yeah, for sure. Okay, and my mind is going like a mile a minute. I'm thinking about like all the things. But on the one.
Did you say your mind's going a mile a minute?
Yeah, but did I not say that? Did I say the wrong thing?
Mile a minute. No, it'd be like really slow. No, it's not.
I feel like this podcast is going.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the one aspect of like compromising. Like I know we've touched on it before on an episode on like how far is too far in dating, because I've talked about like I don't think personally, and like I said this before in the podcast, my opinion has changed on the aspect of like if like some people have on their list of things that they have to be a virgin. Like they have to have never had sex before. And I think that's the ideal, right? Like that's God's design, is that you would only be intimate with one other person for the rest of your life. And that is how God designed it. So ultimately, like that is what you should strive for. But I don't think that should be a deal breaker. Like I don't like I think if that's on your list, great, it should be, but I don't think that should be like a disqualifying factor. Like if somebody
across the board that like
like if somebody has since like given their life to the Lord, they've repented, they're made new, those sins God has totally forgiven and forgotten, and like the person can be made new, you know? So I think, like you said, it's more like looking at their patterns and who they are, and like if they are patterned to be someone that they were that they no longer are.
Yeah. Are they following Jesus now? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So how would you wrap it up, Mackenzie. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Do we have any other questions? Like anything else? I feel like we really like hit the nail on the head. I feel like that's a good way to wrap up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more that could be said in the big scheme of things, but yeah, I mean, honor God, put God first. Don't lower your spiritual standards. Trust that God really does have somebody for you. He loved you enough to go to the cross for you, so he loves you enough to care about who you're going to end up with. So don't get the idea that God doesn't care and that there's no hope or whatever. Just keep seek ye first the kingdom of God. And, maybe don't be seeking the mate first, be seeking Christ first, and then trust him to supply the right person for you.
Yeah. And I guess maybe this is maybe going off the rails a little bit, but knowing that like if you desire marriage, that you can pursue that, but like the Bible says, not everyone will be
there's
married.
singleness.
Like,
That's
it's
right.
Okay if it's okay to not be married either.
Yeah, that'll be that. We'll have to do a whole episode on singleness,
really.
but that's right. Singleness can be.
You need to get somebody that's single that's coming in here though, because it's not fair.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well,
You might be single for the rest of your life, buddy.
It's easy, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up, you guys. Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Young Not Dumb. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. And we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media or send us your thoughts or questions to our website, youngnotdumbpodcast.com. And hey, if you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend or leave us a review. Until next time, stay young but not dumb, and we'll see you soon.